governance that loves abortion, unified across the board, that loves dehumanization, that is trying to dumb humanity down to steal the future, to prepare us for extermination. And that's their own words. And I've, been covering this today while the crew searches everything I say and puts mainstream news articles and documents up on screen. You can take what I say here on air, type it into a computer, and get the enemy saying it. Do you understand that? That's the surrealness of this, and why it's bizarre when people call up and say you're doing a good job. I liken it to I'm bailing water in a sinking boat in the middle of the frozen Atlantic. We're going to die if it goes under. We got to get to shore. It's 2 miles away. Keep bailing, keep bailing. Thank you for bailing. Look, thank you for bailing. And I'm not saying you're bad thanking me. I appreciate that. You need to start bailing. And I know you're bailing. But, I mean, we need to bail like our lives depend on it. And we bail by waking people up. We bail by standing up. And none of us are perfect, but we have Dr. Stallman on. We try to run Linux system and Gen 2 or whatever you call it. I don't know all the tech stuff. We try. We have some other systems this here as well. We're not purist. We try, because there's hackers out there to protect our systems and government and the rest of it. But, we try to be out of the system as much as we can. But we have to be in it as well, because you have to go into the matrix to fight the matrix. But be aware you're in it if you've got any hope, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what I'm telling you. There's this breakaway civilization technocracy that runs Hollywood, runs the whole system, that is involved in social engineering. And I talk to the public who isn't awake, and they'll be watching social engineering if I'm in a hotel in the lobby and there's a TV on. And then I go, do you see that conditioning? Did you just see that? They're like, no, I didn't catch that. And if you mention, you notice they just did this. They go, oh, yeah, they do that. Well, don't be comfortable with people that are trying to sneakily manipulate you. And then if you knew who they were, you'd really do that. Let's go to Julie here. Julie in California, thanks for holding her on the air worldwide.
Hi, Alex. How are you? I want to approach the abortion issue both from a personal and professional side. I've been a nurse for 30 years. When I was 20, I was engaged. I got pregnant. I went and told my fiancé at the time, that I was pregnant, and I wound up getting beaten for about 4.5 to 5 hours. He did everything he possibly could to get me to lose that baby. I crawled into a closet that was beneath his stairs. I stayed there for about another hour until I heard him go upstairs. I grabbed my purse, ran out of the house, got to my car.
Well, I'll tell you the response to a man beating a pregnant woman. That's what I'm going to teach my daughters. They get some boyfriend or husband, comes in trying to make a miscarriage, you pull your gun out and you kill them. And because it's better to be tried by 9 than carried by 6. And that's a normal response, by the way. Because, see, notice the feminists would never tell a woman to do that. Metro and the Raza won't tell, Hispanics that they're targeting Hispanic women with a Gardasil to sterilize them because they're just there to destroy them and turn them into racists, so they're never empowered. And so I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's just incredible. You've been holding to tell the story. I just want to say that someone beating a woman in the stomach, trying to make them have a miscarriage, is trying to murder the baby. It's assault with a deadly weapon. Kill them. Now, I don't get how women put up with men that abuse them, but then women are mean to guys that are nice to them. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying in a general sense. Go ahead.
So anyway, he followed me through the streets of Belmar in New Jersey. I finally found the police station. I went in. The desk sergeant took one look at me and says, "Oh my gosh," I passed out on the floor at that point. They took me to the hospital. My OB kept telling me, all through my pregnancy, you really should maybe think about terminating the pregnancy and whatnot. I said, no. I said, I don't care what happens. If this baby has a problem because of what's happened, I will deal with that. But I'm going to have this child. She's 32 years old, and she has no issues, none whatsoever, not one.
Can you imagine the world without her?
Nope, absolutely couldn't. And now on the professional side, being a nurse, I see women that come in. I've probably had, 8 to 10 women through 30 years of nursing that have come in that have had anything from torn cervix on the uterus. I have had them come in with severe hemorrhaging, which we wind up having to give them oxytocin so the uterus starts contracting. Oh, yeah,
they say that abortion's safe and effective. Well, listen, in a super fancy hospital with top doctors, it's and most good doctors, obviously, as you know, won't do it. It's dangerous, but it's one of the most dangerous procedures you can get, especially in second or third trimester. It doubles your chances of cancer in the reproductive tract, as you know, the uterus and other areas, because it's unnatural. It causes incredible depression, and a lot of times, as you just said, it ends up hurting the woman's fertility. Go ahead. Tell us, as a nurse that's seen it, what it does.
I mean, I've had women come in, I mean, and they wind up, with the hemorrhaging, they'll have blood clots. So they'll actually have to go through with, an OB-GYN to have those clots taken out. So they're basically having another procedure done on them to remove those clots so that they can have a normal cycle and their uterus, doesn't wind up becoming.
Did you hear the man earlier who has his great 25-year-old wife? And they've been trying to have babies, and she keeps having miscarriages at the start of the second trimester. And I said, what vaccine she take? Gardasil, which is designed. It's overwhelming. They can sue me if it's not true. It's out there. Gardasil is designed to do a soft kill sterilization where it doesn't sterilize you every time. It just causes incredible cyst and degeneration in the ovaries, and that's come out. And are they going to get in trouble? No, because that's a program. They're protected. Rick Perry, who said it was the law to take it when it wasn't, to create this hoax to give 11-year-old girls, it's the law that all 11 and 12-year-olds have this. It's the law in Mexico. All Mexican girls have this. It's not even a law. It's the same PR fraud. And you're like, well, there are a lot of Mexicans, Alex, and I thought you don't want open borders. I don't want open borders, not because I don't like Mexicans, but because they're bringing them up here and socializing them and getting them to become voters to make me a slave. If I could turn the Mexicans into libertarians, I will adopt the culture completely. I like Mexicans. I love their food. I like Mexicans' culture. I like the whole 9 yards. I don't like the corrupt government. And I don't like their kids getting sterilized either. But that's why I'm a racist. Is because I don't want to sterilize all the Mexican girls. And that's why Metro and La Raza say I'm a racist. Is because I don't want to kill Mexicans. I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
I hear you, but, the best thing is I've been married for 25 years, and my husband adopted my daughter, and we have a 23-year-old son, and he is as responsible as the day is long. He's going to fire academy, going to be a fireman. So, I hit the lottery.
Well, that's awesome. God bless you. And you didn't have that abortion. Most young people I talk to, unless it's like really poor inner city or Appalachian type folks, a girl's 14, she gets pregnant. And then, I had cheerleader girlfriends and stuff that I didn't get pregnant, but, that later went out with their guys and got pregnant. And it'd be like a big deal at the school. And then I'd see them years later with their handsome son or daughter at the shopping mall or whatever and say, hi, to my old girlfriend. Oh, this is my son, this is my daughter. I ran into multiple, girlfriends I had. Who had kids later. And, they were grown up. They were beautiful. They were cool. They had kids. It accelerated their growth development. They were empowered by it. And they always said, thank God I didn't have an abortion. 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 Over and over and over again. I'd meet those women when they were 20, 22 years old. I'd been dating them when I was 16, 17, you name it. And it was just, it's so fulfilling. So appreciate your testimony. Thank you for calling, Julie. Amazing testimony. I appreciate her holding to tell that story. I just want to say this. I need your prayers. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, we're big shots. I can handle stuff. I don't get stage fright. I don't get fright going out and speaking to a big crowd of people. I've never had that. They had at the daycare center that I stayed when my mom was working at the Dallas Morning News and my dad was finishing up at medical school. And I'd stay a few days a week, for like 10 hours at that daycare center. I don't know why I'm telling that story, but I don't even have this memory, but they had the Christmas play they put on. And none of the kids, it was a big daycare center in Dallas, probably 50 kids in it or more. None of the children would do the parts when it came time. And I stood up and I said, I am Moo the cow and I bring milk to the baby Jesus. I said, I am Moo the cow, I bring milk to the baby Jesus to all these parents, there at the daycare place. But I'll tell you, folks, I've got stage fright now because I'm not on a stage. I'm in the real world just like you are. And I have just come to grips with the fact that we're absolutely right. And we're facing the devil. And when you're facing the devil and you realize your best works are dirty rags, it's a, why me? Well, it's just like, why am I in this position? And it's beyond fear of crowds. Is not the way to describe it. It's more of just like, what? I mean, I don't have this high view of myself, and I know you don't have a big view of yourself. Good people are not arrogant. Good people are humble. But you're going to have to get past that, and you're going to have to get in the enemy's face. And I know you're not even afraid. It's more like you don't want to cause a stir. You don't want to. You just want to live your quiet life and be a good person and fight the good fight every day. But the fighting the good fight means we got to get really aggressive is what I'm saying. We got to step out of our comfort zones, myself included, and recommit to go in against the enemy 110%. Why is nascent iodine so important?
Nascent iodine is so important because it goes directly to the thyroid. It's not bonded to a salt, which means it doesn't have to be broken down. And it's the most usable form. It's what the body uses. It's what the body is designed to use. If you have low energy levels, if you have pains, if you have thyroid problems, if you don't feel up to par, well, they've proven now that the fluoride and a lack of iodine causes a decreased IQ because you have all this stuff that builds up inside your system and builds up and builds up. And that's why some people, when they start taking iodine, will have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification reaction. But that's a good sign. That means you're detoxifying all that fluoride buildup, the mercury buildup in there, the bromine buildup in your system, and the chlorine buildup in your system. You don't want those things. All of those things have been proven as carcinogens. That's one of the reasons prostate cancer is on the rise, too, is because prostate takes up iodine, and the men that are lacking iodine causes the prostate to become cystic and causes the prostate to swell and eventually leads to prostate cancer. There's been an extreme rise in polycystic ovarian disease, PCOS, with women, fibrocystic breast disease, because iodine is stored in the breast tissue, the ovaries, the prostate glands in men. It's utilized by every single cell in the body.
Why does this almost taste good compared to other iodine that tastes horrible? That's because it's real iodine, atomic form.
We wanted something that's going to go straight into the bloodstream and straight into the thyroid gland. We wanted to put it in a vegetable glycerin base. That's a USP kosher certified vegetable glycerin base. And that product is not tested on animals. It's vegan friendly. It's gluten free. It's GMO free.
Of all the things I've done, nascent iodine was just absolutely amazing. So we developed with Dr. Group a double